Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, I'm Janelle, and in today's video, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the city of Amsterdam. We're going back to Europe, to Netherlands, Holland. Let's hop right into it. Some say that Amsterdam is the best city for solo travel. The Schiphol airport is where most of you are going to fly in. It's easy to navigate, and directly beneath it is going to be the train station that can quickly get you connected to the city center. A lot of these cities in Europe are going cashless too, so just keep that in mind. Before you leave the airport, you're going to want to grab an OV chip card. This reloadable card is going to be helpful for you during your stay, and it will be your ticket to ride the trams, the buses, and the metro. Another tip is going to be for packing. If you are unsure about checking lots of bags, you can take a pillow. I've talked about this on my TikTok in a couple videos, and people wanted to know more information about it. What you need to know is that pillows are a free item on any airline. You're not going to have to pay to take a pillow on board with you. So what you're going to do is you get the flat pillow. You can pack it while you are in the airport. Some people like to do it before they leave at home. However much you can carry, you can just fit it in. For me, I like to put in a lot of sweaters, maybe some hefty jackets, pants, whatever that isn't going to fit into my backpack. You're going to lay it flat and you can just slide it into the pillow. That, along with my backpack or personal item, whatever I'm using. This time I was flying American Airlines. At that time, they were allowing passengers who were flying basic economy. They did not have to pay to take a carry-on on the plane. Now, I believe if you're flying basic economy, you are going to have to pay. Unless you are going to just take a personal item, I would suggest that you just use the pillow hack tip to help you. Another tip for the airlines: remember, you're flying from the States to Europe. These flights typically are going to have meals. You can get the meal that is already going to be served to everyone in flight, or you can request a special one for those who are lactose intolerant, maybe vegan, gluten-free. They have a lot of options. What you need to do a few weeks before your flight, you can contact them directly, go online and request that special meal be given. I always like to request the vegan ones. They are going to be high in sodium, but they do have these special meals set aside for you. You usually get served first before the other passengers, usually with the kids. With American, their meal was very good. Here you see a picture of it. Since it's not complete long haul, you are going to probably just have like the meal, depending on what time your flight is, and then there will be time for a snack. They're going to have beverages. So that is the tip. Get your chip card when you first touch down into Schiphol Airport. Of course, you can go outside, take pictures of the I Am Amsterdam sign. I think it's still there. I know they've been moving them around. And then bring a pillow just in case you want to try the pillow hack. If you are wanting to try a special meal, you want to order that ahead of time. Amsterdam is in Europe. I've mentioned before that Europe is one of the best when it comes to hostels. There is really no other place that I would rather stay when visiting. In Amsterdam, I stayed at Clink Hostels, and I stayed at Hostel, which is a Black-owned hostel. Let's go. And it's all female. First, let's talk about Clink Hostel. It's right across from Amsterdam Central Station. So like I was saying, at the airport, if you go downstairs to the train station, get your ticket, go all the way to Amsterdam Central Station, then it's going to be a few minutes walk, and then you can take the free ferry across to where the Clink Hostel is going to be. It's very simple, easy to do. Now, the ferry, it does fill up quickly, and this is a bike-friendly city, so much so that you have to yield to the cyclists. So just keep that in mind. I wouldn't just be walking around, just taking in all of the smells and delights of the city. You need to be aware because these bikes, boy, they are whizzing by. I almost got swiped by them a couple of times myself. Just like hostels all around the world, Clink offers a social environment that makes it a great option for those who are looking to meet new people. From organized events to the common area, even the kitchen contribute all to this atmosphere. I was able to converse and meet a lot of people just by being in the eating space downstairs while you see people cooking. because that's a way to save money. Amsterdam can get pricey for food. I saw families with young children. It was just a wide range of ages. And no, it wasn't a party hostel. Clink hostels are strategically located in the city center. That means it's going to be easily accessible for you to get from the airport and then to the local attractions. The hostel offers basic amenities such as towels, free Wi-Fi, laundry facilities on site, as well as bars, cafes. The one I was at in Amsterdam had a restaurant. That's where I was able to get the vegan English breakfast. The rooms were clean, the bathrooms were cleaned, and it was just really a nice communal environment. You see people of all ages from all over the world. This is what hostels are supposed to be like. Clink hostels, 10 out of 10, highly recommend. They are inclusive of everyone. It was one of the best hostels that I've stayed at. And they offer locations around the globe too. So definitely look up Clink hostels. Flying Pig is another one. I did not stay there, but I've heard good reviews. And Manger City West is a good brand also. I took a day trip to Brussels and I stayed at Maninger there. The Black-owned hostel is Hostel. It's located in the neighborhood of Bijlmer. Some people call this the hood because, you know, that's where you're going to get all of the multi-ethnic groups there. For me, that's where the best food is. I'll talk about that in the food section. Hostel is all women. You might not want to be staying at a hostel where it's mixed gender, then you can go to Hostel. It is out of the way from the local attractions, a bit further out, but if you just take the train and then you can come in back to the city center, I think it's fine. And you're there with all women, all right? That typically means I'm not saying that men aren't cleaning up after themselves. You're next to the Lidl grocery store. There is the Bijlmer market, a melting pot of culture in the Bijlmer neighborhood. The hostel is secure. It is Black owned. I think you should definitely check it out and support it. In my room, I was able to meet another sister. She was from Ireland, and it was cool, you know, to put on my bonnet and see another person who's like me that, you know, understand the struggle. And so we were able to enjoy having that time together. I don't know if they just put two blacks at the same room. Sometimes that does happen, y'all. But no, the vibes of all of the women were good to go. I cannot remember if they had laundry available. I know Clink did. Sometimes they will charge an extra fee for you to use their laundry services. So you just can have coins, or like I said, if they're cashless, just have a card. You can wash your clothes, no problem. If hostels aren't your thing, I would suggest an Airbnb. Amsterdam is such a beautiful city. They have these floating houses that are on the platform. Sometimes they are built on stilts. And so you might want to rent an Airbnb that's a floating house on the beautiful canals. Go on Hostel World, you're going to see a long list of them. I've been to the Black-owned one. You can do Clink hostels, Flying Pig even, and then check out a Airbnb. The Bijlmer neighborhood is known for its multicultural community. It has residents from various ethnic backgrounds. This is where I'm going to go if I want to get my hair done, if I want to eat good food, if I want to shop and buy products that are going to be for me, my skin, my hair. They had a beauty supply over there. This is the area that you want to go. They even offer cultural events. Black Archives, there is a branch in this Bijlmer neighborhood. And I believing that they are active as of 2024. The Bijlmer Arena is a major transportation hub and entertainment district. Concerts, sport events, and football are hosted in the arena. The Amsterdam Port Shopping Center is where you're going to see a lot of hustle and bustle activity going on, where you can buy souvenirs, beautiful African prints, where you can buy the fabric or actual dresses and possibly even get them made. Things to do in Amsterdam is going to be a pretty hefty list. I'm going to try to narrow it down to about 5 and give you some tips about them, okay? Amsterdam's tourism board does not want to be known, the city doesn't want to be known as just a place for brothels and coffee shops. They are wanting to push out the bothersome tourist, the one that's just coming, taking pictures in the red light district. They're not following or adhering to the rules that are set. They want people, you know, more who are going to, you know, learn about the duchies, experience the museums, go out on excursions. When you travel, you should want to be a responsible traveler. You could book a canal cruise to learn more about the city's history. I was able to do that. It's usually about an hour. You get to go under the beautiful bridges. The scenery is lovely, and make sure that you have your camera or your phones ready because Amsterdam is so picturesque. Walking tours are available. I would schedule those with the front desk of your hostel or hotel. And the terrain of Amsterdam is very flat, which makes it very easy for you to walk or bike. So walking tours are going to be something that I recommend for you to do. There are museums. I went to the Anne Frank house. This one, it is going to be sad. You know, they're talking about the Holocaust, you know, the story of Anne Frank. And this is a popular tourist destination. So if I were you, I would try to book it maybe 1 to 2 months out. When I went, it was a few years ago and it wasn't as crowded, so I was able to get in, but I did have a reservation ahead of time. So make sure that you book ahead online so that you can skip the queues, as they call it. Another museum that I am going to mention is the Black Archives. You can get more information on this. They have Black Archives on Instagram, and there's the blackheritagetours.com. Currently, I am not sure if this museum is open. Here you're going to be able to learn about a lot of Surinamese culture. I think there is a southeast branch in Bijlmer, the neighborhood that I was talking about earlier. There's also a Facebook group, and there you're going to be able to learn more about the Surinamese who were colonized by the Dutch and their stories. A day trip to see the windmills is high on every traveler's list. Exploring the Dutch countryside is one of the most memorable highlights of my trip. Going to the Zaanstad area is spectacular. Being able to go out and see those windmills, they take you, to see the cheese. They used to have a cheese market, and it's just very picturesque, very like if you were reading a storybook. This is what old Netherlands looked like in the 18th and 19th century, and it's amazing. You can get a day trip with Viator, Airbnb experiences, Get Your Guide. All of these can be arranged from your front desk at your hostel. And my tour, it was about 6 hours. The group all met at the location, and then we ventured out to the countryside. On the bus at Zaanstad, there's over 600 windmills to see. And yes, they are still active. There's also original wooden houses, shops, barns, and more. In these neighborhoods, people are living there, you guys. So it's important to be respectful when you're taking photos. Make sure that you're being mindful of the noise. And if you see the resident, maybe ask them if it's okay. Don't just start snapping on people's property. All right. People do live here. We also had the option to visit the cheese making factory. They were showing us all of the different versions that they have. There's fruit, wine available for purchase, and it's just a nice experience. And then we continue to see how the wooden clogs are made at the wooden factory. I don't know how they are able to have that balance. I have bad balance, y'all, and walk in the clogs, but it was nice at least to just pose in them for a few pictures. We also went to Volendam. All of these places look like it's a Dutch postcard, and you are being transported onto the pictures that you see. It is so beautiful. I really, really enjoyed this tour. As I said, it was the highlight of my trip. And because of where Amsterdam is located, it makes it easy for you to do a day trip outside of the country. A lot of people like to go to Paris from Amsterdam. For me, I went to Brussels. You can also, if you just want to stay within the Netherlands, you can go to Rotterdam or The Hague. There are so many options that you can do because Europe train travel is fantastic and efficient. Then they have the coffee shops. If you have not been to Amsterdam before, if you're trying to get coffee, you need to go to a cafe, not the coffee shop. All right. The coffee shop is going to be for the cannabis. It's legal here. And I think you will quickly realize that coffee shops are not for coffee in Amsterdam. Be a responsible tourist, responsible traveler, and follow the rules that these coffee shops have. Speaking of that, when we're talking about the De Wallen district, the red light district, these workers, it is their job, okay? So if you are not planning on using their services and they say that there's no photos, you just trying to get a photo, so you can show it off to your boys back home, like, hey, look at me. It's kind of rude. It's kind of disrespectful. We need to be a better tourist. I know sometimes they are looking down upon the British, the Americans, the other travelers who just think, it's time for me to while out in Amsterdam because, they have things legalized here and I'm going to have a good time. Yes, I'm sure you can still do that, but let us do it in a respectful way. They have signs where you should not be urinating in public. You should not be taking photos here. And that's why I really don't have much to show you, because I was following their rules. You could even go visit the tulip gardens. They're only open 2 months out of the year, in the spring, of course. But I mean, you've got to go see those beautiful tulips. I need to go back in the spring so I can see them myself. And things to do would be book a canal cruise, go on a walking tour. You can go to the Anne Frank House, or look up the Black Archives, maybe book a Black Heritage tour. If you are going to be visiting the red light district and the coffee shops, follow the rules that have been set in place by these establishments. As I said before, the topography in Amsterdam means that you're going to have flat terrain, and it makes it very easy for you for biking. The city has more bikes than residents, and these cyclists are going to have the right of way. You just need to get it into your head that you need to yield to them. Watch out for the bikes. Speaking of how to get around, you can rent a bike at Clink hostels. They had bikes outside for travelers to use. If you're not into biking, you can use their public transport. It is very efficient. They have trams, public buses, a free ferry, and of course the metro. It's Europe. Like, their transportation is the best that I've seen. Amsterdam Central Station is lovely. There's lots of eateries, there's shops. I remember Mango being there. I just love the way that they have it set up, and it was just so close and easy for me to get back and forth from Clink Hostel. And you can walk. If you start out with a walking tour, you're going to kind of get a layout of the land, and you're going to be able to see all of the city. Pay attention to the lane where you are walking, because you don't want to get sideswiped by a biker. Now, the weather in Amsterdam can be a bit unpredictable. I believe the second day I was there, it was pouring rain. Make sure that you bring an umbrella. I was not even prepared. You could see a video of it here. I mean, it was coming down, and I don't even know why I was out in all of that rain. It was too heavy for me, actually. Bring comfortable shoes and wear a waterproof jacket. It's been said that the Dutch are very direct, and some people can take that as rude. When I was there, I didn't really experience that. They were just giving me caution ahead of time to move out of the way, because, they were on a bike. And so I, had to adjust to that. I wasn't accustomed to yielding to bikers like all the time. But if you just stay in your lane walking, I really did not experience any directness. I mean, there's places in America where the people are very blunt. I'm blunt myself, so I mean, I can kind of appreciate their honesty. In Amsterdam, the top 3 transportation modes are going to be biking, public transportation, and walking. Vegetarians, you're going to be happy to know that Amsterdam has over 500 plant-based restaurants, and over 60 of these are completely vegan. Isn't that amazing? Like, we are going to be fed well here. I ate at the vegan junk food bar. I had a burger there. I guess I'm not going to say in Europe, but at least in Amsterdam, the fries were not included with the burger, because I know a Dutch meal can be fries with mayo. That's a thing that they do. So the fries were not included with the burger, but it was very delicious. I also went to Meatless District. Some will say that the food, or just Amsterdam in general, is overpriced. That was the case when I went to Meatless District. The dish was beautiful, but it was like a couple bites of food, and it was overpriced. But it's vegan. If you are looking for a nice date option, try out the Meatless District. Mayo's Falafel. This is actually a company from Spain. I used to eat at Mayo's all the time in Valencia and Madrid. They have a few actually all around Amsterdam. You can get your falafel and top it with all of the delicious veggies and sauces. It is so good. If you want to try a sweet treat, you can try a stroopwafel. These are very delicious. They have nice toppings. I think I had the salted caramel one. I can't remember. They have shops that are dedicated just to this nice Dutch dessert. If you are in the Bijlmer area, you can get roti, the Surinamese food. They have the different shops where you can eat vegetarian Surinamese food. I had the roti. It was delicious with a little bit of spice. So yummy. Amsterdam is a melting pot of culture, which means you're going to have a variety of food. You can check out the Chinese places. They have Indonesian spots, all right, Greek, Mediterranean. You are going to find something to eat if you're veg. So don't worry about being hungry in Amsterdam. And that's a wrap on this Amsterdam adventure. I hope that these tips, fun facts, and recommendations are going to make your trip unforgettable. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on any more of the future cities that I'm going to be reviewing. We've been going through all of the best places, I think, for a solo female traveler to go. Amsterdam does not disappoint. You are going to be able to have a slew of activities. You're going to eat well. The transportation's great, even finding a lovely place to stay, and you're going to enjoy your vacation there. Feel free to leave a comment below about your experience in Amsterdam. Did you go on a day excursion? Tell me what your itinerary was. If you are interested in easy travel, especially if you're a US citizen, go ahead and look at this video here about Puerto Rico. You don't even need a passport to go. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.